So I'm always constantly trying to figure out how to perform better. I'm sure a lot of these owners are probably not sleeping a lot, probably working a ton, have a lot of stress from a lot of different things. So biohacking is really how do you hack like the inside and the outside environment of your body just to perform better.
Welcome to the Happy Clients Podcast, brought to you by Dot & Company. Whether you're a virtual assistant, an agency owner, or a client-facing account manager, we all deal with clients. Lucky for you, client management is what we do best. Now, let's dig in, chat cam life, and have some fun along the way. Cheers to happy clients.
Ryan, welcome to the podcast. We're so excited to have you here. I know we've been in touch for, I think, years now at this point. We've been in each other's world. So we're excited to just learn, of course, share what you guys are up to and how you kind of started, but also some hacks for agency owners on how you've really been able to scale your business by using some tools and tricks that we'll get into. So Ryan, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Amazing. Well, why don't you dig in? Tell us a little bit about your entrepreneurial journey and kind of how you got here to running an agency. So kind of fill us in.
Yeah, it actually probably started different than most people. I was a professional DJ for 20 years. So I literally would DJ clubs, bars, spring break, Mexico, Vegas, like everywhere. But during those times, I was also like kind of in the promotional scene. So, which is kind of a form of marketing in a way. And I've always been into computers and kind of digital side. So as I got older and older, that DJ career was fun, but it's not really a career anymore. Kind of kids came along and I needed to pivot into something. And I've always been entrepreneurial. I've never had a real job that people like to say. So the next kind of just like step was like, how do I combine marketing with my love for computers and digital and all that stuff? And that just led me into like digital marketing and working with the bars and clubs that I already knew. And we built a online booking system for them. It was called Project Parties. It was like the first thing we did. And it was a way for people to come and say, hey, I want a place that plays hip hop and I want a certain type of bottle service. And then that would spit back out to them. They would book a party and we'd take a cut of it. And that's really what got me into like the digital marketing side of things.
I will say, I think, Ryan, you might be our first DJ. That actually might be true.
It's like an odd way to get there, right?
So from the early DJ days to now your portal, what are you doing sort of with your portal, your agency? What I guess is sort of your niche right now, Ryan?
Yeah. So like most owners, like a lot of it's just figuring out like what to do, right? Just like understanding. And then can this be a business? And then once it becomes a business, how do you kind of grow that business? So I think we've kind of gotten past that stage a little bit where we're just kind of getting our footing. And now we're kind of dialing into some stuff. I would say in general, our wheelhouse is website design and development, search engine optimization, PPC and paid ads, specifically Facebook and Instagram, and TikTok's kind of coming along now too. That's what we do, right? Because for a while we were doing a little bit of everything for everyone, and that doesn't work, and it burns you out really fast.
Yep.
Interesting. You say niche. We've been working, and depending on who you talk to, people will say do a generalization, don't do general, niche, don't niche. We're kind of doing like the general agency still there, but we're going to niche down. We are niching down into med spas currently. There's a million reasons why. Some of it's just my love for like biohacking and health and stuff like that. And regenerative medicine is great, but that's really highly regulated right now. So med spas are kind of the first step to get there. Hopefully a couple of years will be less regulated. But yeah, we're still doing general stuff, design, SEO, PPC, but niching down into med spas as well too, to really try to focus in and just be an expert in that space.
I love that, Ryan. And I think the sort of high value piece here, what people might be looking for is kind of finding that confidence to do so. I would love to know how you got to sort of this, I guess, place where you wanted to go into med spa, where you wanted to sort of follow what Ryan's, interests are. How did you kind of get there, and what was sort of a good best practice to really get there?
So I'm a big fan of Josh Nelson, 7-figure agency. I follow a lot of what he does. Great program, by the way. And one of the things they talk about is niching down exactly to what you said, kind of to become the expert, but also like you need to niche down your offerings. You need to niche down your services. You need processes that are repeatable. I know you guys are big on processes, which I love as well too. But if you're working with CPG beef jerky client, and then you're doing hair extensions, like you're literally learning their industry every time, it's impossible to scale. And it really puts a lot of pressure on you and your team, right? So the thought process is how do we really niche down to something, not only in that actual niche, but also like your processes, your offerings. When you're talking to the client, you need to talk their language, right? You need to understand that stuff, and you can't learn every time. Once I started understanding that, or that was taught to me, it made a lot of sense. I was like, wait a minute, this can actually be easier, and we probably could do even better and scale faster. So that's why the idea of niching came down. As far as why med spas, there's definitely some criteria we're looking for. Number one, they have to have enough money to market, right? Like you can't just like, a lot of people, first we looked at gyms, and we were looking at gyms because like, oh, I like fitness. I know a lot of gym owners, like, let's do gyms. But I quickly realized that there's nothing wrong with gyms, but like not every single gym has enough money for marketing. And this also happened during COVID, which was
right.
the worst time
gyms.
for gyms.
Yeah.
So then there are some criteria like, you know, you have to have enough money to actually have a marketing company, but not so much money that they have an in-house marketing company. There has to be enough of them, right? And also one thing that I really like is there needs to be a local presence, right? If you're just like a nationwide seller of CPG or something, you can't really dial in SEO. You can't really dial in PPC. We can get you to rank locally much easier and faster if you are a local business, right? So there's some of the criteria we looked at. And then that kind of led to med spas because just like I mentioned, just kind of my love for like biohacking, regenerative medicine. I also saw how much my wife spends on some of these services. Like this is
I was waiting for that.
Katie and I were like nodding our heads.
Yeah, we're like,
and her friends, not just her friends. We're at that age where they're doing, I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, that's, wow, that's a high ticket, right?
Yep.
So I'm like, okay, that all makes sense. So it was a combination of all those factors, probably plus a few things that said, let's go down this road.
Cool. Love that. So speaking of biohacking, let's dig into this because I know this is a huge topic for you and you attribute to kind of some of your successes, which is awesome. So what is biohacking and how are you using it in your business to better you?
Yeah, for sure. So I'm sure like most agency owners out there, like the business kind of is you when you start, right? Some people might even just be, that's all there is. So I'm always constantly trying to figure out how to perform better. You know, I'm sure a lot of these owners are probably not sleeping a lot, probably working a ton, have a lot of stress from a lot of different things. So biohacking is really how do you hack like the inside and the outside environment of your body just to perform better, right? And there's a million things you can do, but I feel like you can kind of break it down to a few core things. And there's some like low hanging fruit, 80-20. I'm sure everyone thinks about like, what's the 20 to get to 80? And like, we can kind of break those down to a few things. And there's a few hacks that I've personally found. There's a lot that don't work. But there's a few that I found that I think, you know, work pretty well and could be applied to really anyone that's listening out there.
Yeah, let's hear them. I want them all because Katie and I are
I know, like I have my pen ready. I'm taking notes, but I also wanted to know too, Ryan, was there like, you know, did you sort of grow up thinking like, I'm going to really lean into biohacking when I'm an adult? Or was there a burnout situation? You kind of gave it your all and you're like, something needs to change.
Yeah, I wish I had. Every like big biohacker and influencer has this great story where they hit rock bottom, right?
Yeah.
They were exposed to mold or they were 300 pounds or, you know, something like that. Like, I don't have that story. I just want to perform better, but I also kind of want to like, how do you do the minimum viable product, right? Same thing when you're building websites or building custom projects. Like, how do you do less work and get more? How do you get to 20 and 80-20? And that's all it really came down to. It was just like a passion for that. And then you just like, you find out these cool things and everyone's looking for the magic pill. Like, how do you just take a pill and lose weight? How do you take a pill and get more energy? It doesn't really exist, but there's some stuff that's like kind of close to that. And that stuff kind of intrigues me.
So let's dig into sleep. Yeah.
Okay.
Sleep is like my favorite thing. I'm like the queen of sleeping. I come from a family of sleep experts, so I'm excited to talk about sleep.
I'll actually just chime in here too. I feel like the sleep changes so much different. Like, okay, full transparency, 36 now, and it looks so much different than it did even when I was 30. Like, I'm so interested in learning sort of more about these hacks and what can help.
For sure. And there is so much for sleep. I just try to pick ones that maybe people weren't aware of or that had just a lot of a good return. But yeah, I mean, work, kids, partying, all that stuff affects sleep, right? And everyone has their own different thing. But 3 things that I kind of pointed out that hopefully, you know, agency owners stuff could use is number 1, something called Sleep Remedy, which I really like. I actually have the child's version here because I ran out. I don't know if you can see it, but it's by a guy. It's probably There you go. By dark parsley. Not a sedative. So we got to stay away from sedatives, right? Not Ambiens, not stuff like that. Like we want REM. We want real sleep. This is just one of the products that I found that seems to work for me and everyone else I talk to very well. And all it does is try to give you some of the nutrients that you really need to sleep, like magnesium, a real light dusting of melatonin. I know melatonin is big, but people take too much of it, in my opinion. Theanine is another great one that is in tea, and just it gives you what you need to sleep. And what I found is that doesn't put you to sleep. It doesn't knock you out, but when you sleep, you wake up, feel much more rested. And you also tend to need a little bit less sleep. So I feel like your sleep is deeper and more efficient. So that's one I really, really like.
Taking a quick pause on today's episode to talk to you about the beginning of a referral-worthy client experience. I want to introduce you to our complete onboarding package for digital marketing agencies. So this isn't your first rodeo. You know the client experience can make or break a project. Forget the blood, sweat, and tears that you and your team have poured into a project. If the client doesn't feel as important as their project, you won't land those referrals your business is banking on. But who has the time to baby their clients and promise them the results? The good news is onboarding your clients is the beginning of that referral-worthy client experience and your secret to repeat clients. And in the complete onboarding package, we're showing you how to onboard your clients like professional client account managers. That's us. So what is the complete onboarding package? It is everything you need to know about onboarding. As dedicated client account managers for some of the world's most successful digital marketing agencies, we've onboarded more clients than we can count. We've tried and tested and retested our process to get it perfect. And that is now this complete onboarding package. From the sales call to the launch, the complete onboarding package shows you how we onboarded clients into digital marketing agencies step by step, including the exact tools and templates we use with real clients. You'll get a 24 step-by-step guide, 22 in-depth video tutorials, and more than 18 tools and templates, so you can take action right away, swipe, and implement right into your agency. So if you are an agency, make sure you head over to clientaccountmanager.com/onboarding to get your hands on the complete onboarding package.
Question.
Everyone's using these like sleep tracking things, whether it's like the Ring or the tools beside their bed. Is there anything that you've been using that?
So I used Fora for a while. I don't like having anything on me when I'm sleeping, and that's my problem. There used to be something called Zeo. I've used that tracking. You could use your watch, you could use whatever. I'm okay with like sleep tracker, stuff like that, as long as it doesn't lead to like anxiety about like what your scores are and you're not sleeping enough. Right. I'm more into like, have a set bedtime, have a set wake time, make sure it's super dark, make sure it's cold. And if you just get those things kind of down, you're good to go. And how do you feel the next day, right? If you're feeling good, great. But we've done some tracking. I've done some stuff with sleep remedies specifically, and your numbers are just higher. It's kind of crazy. So, but I'm into it. If you're into it,
That's a good hack. Cool.
Next one I actually have these right here. These are my blue light blocking glasses that I wear every single night. When the sun goes down.
Oh, when the sun goes down. Okay. It's not like a sitting at your computer thing.
No, I have something for the computer too, but I was just laughing because I was talking to my wife about this the other day, and like I literally just walk around like the sun goes on, I'm wearing these. And I'm like, I can't believe this is normal now. Like you look at me and this is what you are married to, right? But in general, these glasses cost, I think, $7, $8. You don't need the fancy ones. These are literally just like off of Amazon. But the whole idea is to block the blue light, because what are we doing all day? We're in front of screens. We're in front of phones. Our brain's going crazy. We're working. But at night, your body doesn't want that. So if it gets blue light from screens, lights in your house, stuff like that, it actually suppresses the release of melatonin. So not only does if you have blue light, you go to sleep, it's harder to fall asleep, but you also can't sleep as deep, which gets back to some of the sleep tracking that you were saying. This hack we've given to a bunch of our friends, stuff like that. Like it makes a difference, and it's cheap and it's super easy, especially if you're staring at a computer screen all day. When that sun goes down, you got to get rid of that blue light.
Okay. And that's an interesting time of day to wear them too. Like we are all the time being like, oh, my eyes are so tired in front of the computer. But really, you don't really think after that 5 a.m.
Yeah. If you really want to get crazy, which I didn't even bring up this one, I have red lights in my house. Like I have a time where everything drops. And I do this for my children too. Anyone has kids, this is a game changer for kids. Everything turns like amber or red. basically after the sun goes down. And again, it's the same thing, because if you want to watch TV or something like that, I do recommend the glasses, especially the LED TVs we have. But like we change all our lights to amber. It makes you feel calmer too. You can notice the feeling just in your body. But yeah, we do that as well too. And I try to do no screens or anything at that point as well.
Cool.
Yeah.
Amazing.
What if you have to do screens? That's the next question, right? Where you're working at night, late night email, finishing something up. There's a program called Flux, which is pretty popular nowadays. It's F.lux. That will take your computer screen and pull the blue light out of it. And as it gets later, you put where you live, as it gets later, it will drop the blue light from your screen until it almost looks red. So if you have to work late, which happens, at least you're not staring at a screen that's just killing you, not killing you, crushing you with blue light.
Yeah, I mean, we're in Atlantic Canada, and in the winter, it's dark at like 4:30 sometimes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. It's
a lot of our day could be spent in red.
Yeah. And it will go with you, and it's free. Free, it works on Windows. It will literally go as your day starts getting later. It will pull more blue out. So it kind of goes with your circadian rhythm, which is really what we're trying to time the light with.
Amazing.
Love that.
That one's free.
Okay.
So Ryan, you're getting a good night's sleep. You're tapped into blue screens, amber lights.
Yeah.
How has that sort of improved your day-to-day, or even sort of maybe even your business and your productivity?
For sure. You can start the day fresh, right? Like, when you come in, that inbox is loaded, right? There's stuff to do. That there's going to be problems. There's going to be Slack messages, and you need to perform high for a couple of hours in the morning right off the bat, right? By getting a good night's sleep, it allows you to do that. And also it just puts you in a better mood. Like, you're just in a better mood when you're talking to clients. You're just happy. You feel good. And I think clients feel that and see that, and your employees feel that and see that too.
Definitely.
Totally.
So how is this translated into your exercise, your movement, that kind of scene? Yeah.
It's a big one. So I mentioned kids earlier. Like, there's just not a lot of time between kids and work anymore. So like movement is huge. I don't have to explain why you need to exercise or why you need to move, or why we all sit in these chairs all day and you got to get up and move. I found something called AirX, and full transparency, my little brother is actually part of it. They're not a startup anymore. They're located in Austin. They have a machine that's basically in most of the major metropolitan areas that allows you to get a complete full body workout in like 10 to 12 minutes.
What?
So why is this important? Number one, we don't have time. Like, I wish I had an hour every 3 times a week to go to yoga class to work out. Unfortunately, we just don't. And I think most agency owners probably don't. If you do, let me know what you're doing, because I want to know.
Yeah.
So, and I won't get in too deep with it. You can go to arxfit.com and check it out. But the premise is that it's a machine and it has a motor on it. So normally when you lift, you would lift the weight up, and then you would kind of, on the way down, kind of let gravity do its thing. With the motor, you have resistance like concentrically and eccentrically. So on the way down, you're resisting the whole way too. So it allows you to completely tax muscles in like a minute, maybe 2 minutes. So you do 2-3 different things and you're done. And you only need to go like once a week. So you literally can do 30 minutes once a week to get a full body workout. Now, if you want to do more cardio and things and you just enjoy that, great, like no problem. But sometimes for that minimum viable product, again, like, I'm good. I got my workout in. I feel good, gain strength, you feel better. That all relates, again, better with clients, better with employees.
Amazing.
I don't know if they have it in Canada. They might. I think they do.
I was going to say, I doubt they have it where we live, but definitely
I'll have to look.
someday.
They're going to put
We'll talk to your little brother.
Yeah, they went up there.
But like, also so smart of them, because like that is such a great solution.
It
Like
is.
that is the problem. That is the wall everybody hits. I don't have time. I don't have time.
Yeah.
We're like, actually, you do.
And that most of their clients, like Tony Robbins has one, Dave Asprey has one, like all these like celebrity type performers have one, because they have less time than any of us, right? Like, they have the same time, they have less time to work out than us.
That's right. That's right.
Cool.
So last but not least, let's talk about stress, because I think this
Yeah.
is the biggest one, especially with agency owners. They feel responsible for every bit of their business, for their team, for their clients. So what are some hacks that you've been doing for stress?
Yeah, it's a lot.
What
Stress
a
is lot.
loaded question. Hey?
It's a lot. I mean, stress happens, right? It's how do we react to it that really matters. You're never going to be able to avoid all the stress. Again, if you figure that out, let me know. Maybe you just have to quit your job or something. So with that being said, what are some little hacks? There's a million, right? Like, people know yoga, people know meditation. The ones that I have found, at least that have moved the needle, and again, efficiently, right? Like I wish I could go to an 1.5 hour yoga class 3 times a week. I would do it. I'm actually wearing one right now. It's called Happy. It's like this little, I don't even know what to call it. It's like a little halo you can wear on your head. I thought that'd be a bit much for the podcast. I wear it down here. And what it does is it actually uses like electromagnetic frequencies to kind of like tap into your brain a little bit to kind of do the same thing as what, let's say you take CBD or nicotine or any of those type of chemicals, that fires little neurotransmitters in your brain through a chemical. This kind of does it through electromagnetic frequency. So there's little routines on it. So if you say, hey, I want to relax, I want to focus, stuff like that. Now, not everyone I think has been great. Like there's a happy hour one. I'm like, that doesn't feel like happy hour to me, but there's a focus one that I really, really like. And maybe it's placebo. I don't know, but it works. Especially like first couple hours a day when you put it on, it just helps you focus. And then there's a napping one that I really, really like as well too. I put it on, I nap for 20 minutes. I literally am just like out. I wake up, I feel like completely refreshed again for like the second half of the day. And those are 2 that I really like. So it's a really cool, and I'm still kind of getting used to it and learning it because it's really new, but there's a lot of science behind it, which I like as well too.
Yeah.
So that's one.
Cool.
What's it? Oh, Muse is my next one. This is a lot of headband things today. So this is like the little Muse headband that I put on, and this is for meditation. Love meditation. Don't need to get into why it's beneficial. I'm sure everyone knows about it by now, but I never really knew like, is this working? Like if I spend 10 minutes doing this, is this worth it? The thing that's cool about this, it hooks up to your phone and it gives you real-time feedback. So they'll do like rainforest sound. And when the rainforest starts, like there's a storm, if the storm gets louder, that means your brain isn't doing what it needs. It's not giving you the right signals, right? You're trying to go for more alpha signals. And as it starts to calm down, you hear more birds. That means you're in the state that you want to be for meditative state. And I just found that this has been really helpful because I could just do it for 10 minutes, get feedback. It reminds me when I need to do it. And I can say, okay, that was a good session. That was a bad session. I need to improve. And it's just really helped on the meditation side because, you know, our brains are going like crazy all the time with all this different type of stuff, being agency owners or business owners or entrepreneurs. So that one's been super helpful, and it's kind of fun. It's kind of fun to do. And it reminds you, you get scores, you can share your scores. I do with my wife, actually. I send her a score. Like, oh, it's a good day, or this is not a good day. And she does the same thing. And that's been really helpful and fun.
Oh, that's a good one. I actually have a Muse. So
yeah, do you like it?
We're to get it back out. I haven't used it in a while. So
I know you got to get into the streak. Yeah.
Yeah. And it reminds you of like why you're doing it. Cause I get, you know, everyone's like, oh, you have to meditate. You have to meditate. But this kind of reminds you of like, okay, it's actually working for your brain. Like it's not just this like woo-woo thing that you're doing. Like your brain is responding.
Yeah.
I was going to say that too. Like it's so frustrating when you set time aside to meditate, to like really put effort into that. And then you're just like, your mind's like going. And that is just when I'm just like, you know what I mean? Like too much.
So, did it even help for sure?
Yeah. What am I even doing? Just go back to work. Yeah.
It's true. That's funny.
Ryan, those are so helpful. And I think it's just so great to see these products, these kind of hacks, to share them with everybody kind of who's listening is amazing. I've certainly, you know, have taken my notes and need ARX coming to Halifax, Nova Scotia soon. But yeah, these are definitely parts that all agency owners and potential agency owners, they're areas that everybody needs a little bit of help with. So really great tools, and love all of that. So we will link everything in the description below. Ryan is the go-to guy for biohacking. What is the biggest pro tip, Ryan? What's the kind of big lesson learned through all the tools, all the things to kind of keep your agency going?
Yeah. Oh my God. There's so many. Like probably we could go another hour about this. I'll tell you something that I just recently have done this week. I outsourced my inbox this week. And by doing that, yes. Oh my God. And it's something I probably need to do for 20 years. I now have someone that comes in and checks the inbox at like 8 a.m., 9 a.m., 10 a.m., and then puts something into a folder for the stuff I actually need to look at, and then send stuff off to team members for stuff they need to look at, and then Slacks anything important. And it's been a game changer in 2 ways. Number one, just my mind. I'm not like waking up being like email. That's just been like quality of life. But also I found that like I was probably getting a little bit more distracted than I thought because I was spending all this time in emails. I'm like, wait a minute, he's been sending me the emails I need to do. And this has been like an hour. I'm done in an hour. I was spending 2-3 hours sometimes doing that. So I'm only on literally, what is it, Wednesday? I'm on day 3, and it's made a huge change already. But outsourcing inboxes was huge, especially for what we do, right? We talk in email. Everything is in email, and that has been awesome so far. I hope it stays that way.
Okay. Any tips on where you found this person?
I found someone in the Philippines. It's a site that's dedicated for the Philippines because the hours have to kind of match up a little bit, right?
Yeah.
If they're completely in the wrong time zone, it's a little tough. I'll send you guys the link, the actual link to what I did. And then there's like a little interview process and things like that I went through. And honestly, I was dreading doing it because I'm like, this is going to be so difficult. It wasn't. I should have done it 2 years ago.
Yeah, that's a huge element of trust, right? That's how you know you've made it, when you can outsource your inbox.
For sure.
Waiting for that. Thank you so much, Ryan. Of course, we'll also link, everything to your portal where you can find Ryan below, but this has been super helpful and so much goodies that we're going to go try out now. So thanks so much, Ryan.
Yeah, perfect. I hope some things were helpful for other people and for you guys out there. Hopefully one hack will resonate.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks, Ryan.
You're welcome.
Cheers to happy clients.